Hello, everybody, and welcome to Shortcuts. Garrett, I think we're on 12. We need an intern to fact check this. I think it's episode 12. And like I said last week, it feels like we get a little bit better every week. And the reason I can say that is because now we're managing time zones, we're managing international guests. Like, it just feels like everybody wants to be part of Sharp Cuts. So I'm just going to get out of the way, pass it to my guy from Yes Guy Gaming, Garrett May. You can introduce today's guest, and let's get into it, because not only are we dealing with time zones, we're dealing with bedtimes, because they're way ahead of us right now. And I'm just thankful they joined us on the show.
Well, thanks, Josh. And yeah, 12, I mean, guests want to be on the show, but it seems nobody wants to watch or listen to the show. So for those of you joining, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. And we got to thank our guests for joining. So let's get right to it before we lose your attention. First up, I'll introduce our first guest. I've known this person for a long time. Played for the University of Michigan down in the States. Then went on to play professional, Team Canada, looking for an Olympic berth this year. Maybe I've spoken too soon. It's Jen Cross. Welcome to the show, Jen.
Hello. Thanks, guys. Hey, Garrett. Hey, Josh. What's up?
Is that all you got?
I mean, yeah, it's 11 o'clock. We're in Italy. We're starting national team camp. It's all happening.
Okay, great. Well, I sort of cut you off right after I asked if that's all you had, but we got to introduce our second guest before we get going here. So sorry, we'll get back to that. But over to our second guest. Graduate of Queen's University, also went on to have professional career, still playing, also with you in Italy. I think you mentioned you're actually adjacent to each other in the hotel room, national team player. It's Carolyn Livingston. Welcome to the show, Carolyn.
Hello, and thank you so much for having me. I don't know either of you guys all that well. Just got to know Jen super well these last couple days in our little quarantine together, and yeah, looking forward to hanging out.
Well, that's really polite of you to say that you're really thankful to be on the show, and we're thankful for you for joining us. I mean, it's tough going. For our viewers, if you're experiencing any technical issues, it's because we're talking to these people from across the world, okay? So give us a break. So you two are in Italy right now, like in hotel rooms, you're in quarantine, national team camp. Tell us the story. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, it's a story. So obviously COVID's a thing, and VNL is going on regardless of COVID. So it's happening under a bubble in Rimini. And so with Canada's restrictions, it made more sense for national team to do our training camp here. So we all met up in Italy over the last couple days. And unfortunately, we were exposed within like 2 hours of getting to the hotel. So we are in quarantine, just her and I for the next, till Saturday, basically, for 5 days, and then hopefully test negative. And we'll be able to start training.
That is absolutely brutal, and we are sorry to hear that. But it's got to be the weirdest thing. You're in a hotel, you can't go anywhere, but you're right next to each other? Like, do you hop out on the balcony and just, like, shout just to see another human's face, or what?
Yeah, like we...
For sure. Meals together, workouts together.
And, like, we can, like, shout at our teammates and staff, like, they're down in the lawn, and we just, like...
So you're on the balcony just spitting chirps off the balcony? Hey, you better deliver. We're in lockdown. If we were there, we'd be kicking your ass right now.
Yeah, I had a full debrief with Shannon today from the balcony. Very productive.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, sorry to hear that. Thank you both for joining. I know it's late there, but we're happy to have you. I got a list of topics that we can cover, we'd like to cover. We're looking forward to chatting about it. Josh, I would throw it to you, but you know what? I'm prepared today, so I'm just not even going to do that. I'm going to get right into it. So we've talked a little bit already about you're both kind of part of this national group. You're in Italy right now. We're building to the Volleyball Nations League. I'm just kind of curious because we talked with TJ Sanders a few weeks ago about his experiences with national team, the coaching, what that's like, and just wondering if maybe one or both can just give a vision for our listeners and viewers, maybe just what it's like being part of this program, because we're all huge fans, but we don't get to see much. We don't know what the heck's going on. Give us some inside scoop if you can.
Well, you can see more if you follow our team Instagram that I run at VNT on Instagram. So
immediate plug. We haven't gone even 10 minutes into the show and plugging the Instagram. I like it.
That's good.
Absolutely. If you want more national team, follow the gram. We're very active on there. What is it like? It's kind of chaotic. It's the best thing I've ever done. I will continue to keep playing because of how much I value the relationships with my teammates. I would not be playing without my teammates anymore. Yeah, like, it's kind of crazy. Like, this situation in Italy isn't it's kind of normal for a national team. We travel all over the world. Crazy shit happens all the time. It is what it is.
And what about you, Carolyn? Because we could let Jen go on probably for the whole episode. So just feel free to jump in and cut her off at any time. I mean,
Yeah.
We should mention that Jen is the captain, and maybe that's why Caroline is just a little bit hesitant to kind of step in here because she doesn't want to.
Wait, Jen, you're the captain? Stop. You're not the captain. You're taking the coin toss?
Yeah, Garrett, how did you not know that? You're supposed to be my friend, dude.
Well, I'm just shocked that they would go, okay, we got this whole squad. You know what? We're going to go.
Seriously? Garrett? Oh, don't even.
No, I shouldn't throw that chirp because I might just get a myriad of shit back at me. Hey, you're a complete idiot, Garrett. So easy there. But Josh, way to also say maybe why she's hesitant and then cut her off completely. So, I mean, this show's already out of control. Carolyn, sorry.
Yeah, no, for sure Jen's been leading the way here. That, and also this is my first official year with the junior women's team. So it's been a long time coming. I was with Next Gen a couple of years ago. Then COVID hit, so I've waited 2 years now to finally get on the actual floor with the team, which was supposed to be today. So when that happens on Saturday, I will be so delighted to let you know.
The ultimate really disappointment. You were supposed to make your debut, and you're chatting with us on Sharp Cuts. Like, what a sharp turn for the worse.
It's been a rough
for real.
I'm sorry for both of you. A, for the COVID situation, the national team situation, but B, for this. Like, I mean, thanks for joining us. So I'm sorry, I didn't know that, Jen. I don't follow the Instagram. I maybe should now, because maybe I would then get all the updates.
No, I post my stuff.
I don't follow anybody, to be honest, because I deleted the Instagram off my phone. So I am totally oblivious.
Oh, that's why.
Right, but now I got to get on and follow, because like that's, I mean, I don't know. That's why I asked the question, is because for such a long time, I've known people on the national team, but I just never see anything. So it sounds like you're trying to fix that.
I mean, yeah, like I would say in 2017 when we made the move from Winnipeg to Vancouver, I specifically made a conscious effort to boost the profile of our national team. Like there was no female volleyball players in North America are incredibly successful and very popular. Like NCAA volleyball is the most popular female sport. There's no reasons that we shouldn't have more of an influence and an ability to affect things positively. And we had no outlet to do that. There wasn't really one place that we had control over. And so that's why we now have an Instagram that we run completely separate from, not completely separate, but we are independent from Volleyball Canada on that Instagram page. We create and upload all of our content ourselves.
Well, I got to respect a fellow content creator, so mad respect. Hopefully that keeps going well. Carolyn, maybe you can give us your opinion on how well it's actually going. And just remember, Jen is your captain, so just think about that before you answer.
Yeah, I gotta watch my words here. No, it's been great. Like, I think I'm trying to think of how long I've even been on Instagram for.
Do you follow the account?
I do.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm an honest follower. Put the likes in, and
likes in.
I'm doing my dues there. Yeah, the likes are key. So you got to support from the inside. I think that's also really key.
Yeah,
lots of tags.
Sure. Josh doesn't even watch the YouTube version of this show. Like he just puts up the podcast and then he totally ignores.
We get like 8 likes a video and I'm one of them. I've hopped on the like train for sure on like
Okay, I spoke too soon. Josh, support from the inside. Okay. So that kind of is like, I'm kind of interested because you're both there obviously in quarantine, but before that, you're both kind of living the pro life, right? Like playing pro, traveling all over the place. You're stuck in hotels or a foreign city. I'm just kind of curious, like traveling with the national team compared to your kind of pro experiences, how different is it? I mean, you have the same, it's a bunch of Canadians you're traveling with, but I'm wondering, is it the same kind of hotel to hotel? Because I mean, I played beach pro and that's exactly what it was, but I didn't have a whole group of teammates traveling with me. Is that weird with the language barrier? I'm just kind of curious how that's been going.
Well, sidebar, Garrett, where did I play last year? Without looking it up, do you know, as my friend?
I have no idea. I think maybe Bulgaria, but I don't know for sure.
Okay, so you're close. I played in Bulgaria for 2 years, the last 2 years, but this season I was in Turkey.
Okay, well, forgive me. Forgive me.
No, I won't.
Well, okay. Yeah, I have no idea.
No idea. That's okay. Dropping down friend status here, Garrett. No, it's really different. Like when you're overseas, like, and that's a huge difference from the beach volleyball scene to the indoor scene, is that like the indoor lifestyle is a lot more stable. Like you go to a country and you're like fully living there, and obviously you travel for games, but it's usually once every 2 weeks, and depends on the country, but like I go to the same grocery store all year. I have a cell phone there. I have a routine. Like it's a lot more stable in that way, which is why one of the reasons I prefer the indoor pro versus beach. It's just a completely different.
Once every 2 weeks are your matches, Jen, for real? Unless you're playing in the French First League.
For travel.
And there's a global pandemic. Okay. Yeah. That sounds more
like assuming you have home away.
If you're in the French League, and you're in the middle of a pandemic, we were at, I think at one point 3 matches a week making up games this season. So it was a bit of a rough go.
Yeah, we also had that for like an 8-week period, January and February. We played every 3 days because of all the COVID disaster. So yeah. But I mean, like language barrier stuff, I feel like it always seems like a big deal, but it's really not. Like you figure it out, and like everyone talks about the same things, like relationships. They're angry at their parents. They, what TV shows are you watching? It's all the same stuff. It's just slightly difficult depending on the language, but you always find a way to figure it out, basically.
Yeah, that's something I kind of, I guess I didn't realize, is like you go there, you're there, like you're living, you can lay, like it's like kind of at university, say, where like, yeah, you might travel to play a game, but maybe you have a home game, like then you're home maybe for 2 weeks, and then maybe you travel, you go on the road for a bit, but then you're home again. You can kind of lay a few roots down.
Exactly. It's the same sort of thing. Like you're just in like, you have your apartment. Like I go to IKEA every year and like buy the same boxes that I do every single year.
Okay,
like
damn.
stuff.
I'm regretting, Josh, my decision. What was I thinking? Like that sounds way better than what I went through. Like, are you kidding me? Go to IKEA?
Everybody
I have money to go to
the
IKEA.
beach is so appealing. Like, yeah.
Like I could afford furniture and stuff. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Sometimes they help you with housing, I think. Like if you're a big shooter, like Caroline, when you were with France, like did they give you a place to live?
Yeah, usually like I think most indoor contracts, apartments included. I was actually telling this to my younger sister who's looking to play pro, and everything's it's a good life. You get given a car, you don't have to pay rent once a month. Pretty much anything you're paid is like in your pocket or on coffee if you're a coffee drinker. Sorry, Jen. Or it goes on for your food, and that's about it. So.
And you're living in France.
Yeah, and you get to live in France. So yeah, it was a pretty good time.
I'm incredibly jealous of the car. Like, I'm a 29-year-old man living in Toronto, never owned a car, and I can't even struggle to think about affording a car, and they just give them away. Like, what? Damn it! I'm incredibly jealous.
When did you even get your driver's license?
Hey, listen, okay? I have my driver's license, all right? I'm not pulling like, well, I was 18. What? You got a problem?
Yeah. I just have a memory of you not getting your driver's license for several years, which is correct.
Well, it maybe seemed like several because we had a few others who had access to cars, but it's not like I was having the Rolls Royce to wheel around in high school. You know what? Let's give some frickin' context then, Jen, if you're going to be throwing shots across the bow. Jen and I...
Let's go there.
Actually, I'll tell this story. So...
Oh, no.
First day of grade 9. Not even God. First day. You go to register. Right? Like you go and you put in your name and they're like, okay, yeah, welcome to high school. I go to school and we're in line and we're just standing there. It's me and my mom and we're just waiting. And like, there's this super tall chick behind us. And my mom, out of the blue, just asks her, hey, do you play volleyball? And I went, Mom, like, what are you doing? Like my first day of high school, you ask some random chick if she plays volleyball. And then it's Jen, and she immediately goes, oh yeah, like, no, I play club. Like, it was like, oh my God. The first person I ever met in high school turns out to be Jen frickin' Cross. And now we both go on to play pro volleyball. Like, what a weird... And so anyway, that's the background there with Jen and I. Yeah. We went to the same frickin' high school.
Well, not only did we go to the same high school, we also sat at the same lunch table with all of our volleyball crew, all the Crush guys, for 4 years. And yes, it was quite an experience. We went to sports high school too, so it was even more. There was a lot of stuff going on. Let's just say that.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. So that's the history between us. So if you see any more offside shots being thrown either way, there's years of history behind that.
Years. Yeah.
So yes, I have my driver's license. I got it when I was 18, and it's okay, Jen. Gosh.
Just saying.
Okay. Well, okay. So re-segueing back onto some stuff that our viewers actually give a shit about.
Oh, Garrett, that's such a good question you just leaped over. Caroline asked if you can drive like a standard car. So even if I was playing pro in Europe, I couldn't drive the car. I'd have to practice on it and probably ruin it.
Sorry, I'm completely distracted because our tech situation is just a hassle for me to wrangle with the constant resizing of things, the audio. I'm just working magic over here to keep this thing alive. So sorry, viewer. Great question. I cannot drive standard. Way to poke at where it hurts. It just hurts to know. So I couldn't have even done that anyways.
Oh.
Yep. Embarrassing. You should be ashamed.
Yo, you can.
Can you ask for that in your contract, though? Can you ask for an automatic?
I need it automatic.
Oh, yeah. Like, I have in the past. I can drive stick, and I did it in Germany for 2 years. However, I don't see the point of a standard car. Like, I just don't get it why people are like obsessed with this. Oh, it's better for driving. It's better for hills. Like, that's why an automatic does it for you. So like I ask like preferred automatic vehicle. So I don't drive. I have to.
So like negotiating a contract for a pro, obviously there's stuff like that goes into it. That's something that's just so incredibly foreign to me. I'm kind of curious what other stuff you are like trying to throw in. Obviously money, but is it ever like, maybe get me a couch and a king size mattress and then it'll make the deal work?
Like a 3-story walk up. I don't want to, take the elevator. I just want to be pretty close.
It depends where you are in your career. Like when
depends on your pull. Jen's being nice. It depends on your pull. If you're experienced like Jen and you're starting on your national team, you've got all the pull. You got the car, you got the automatic car, you got the mini fridge. If you're at my stage in my career, maybe not
full-size fridge.
Oh, they want to take me? Sign me up. So there's a little bit of a contrast for sure.
Well, realistically, like I know people always ask for a flight home at Christmas, if possible. That's a huge one. A car with unlimited miles, because like some clubs, like you'll get a car, but you can only drive it within like the city limit, or like you have to record like to and from wherever you're going, which is just a hassle. Yeah, those are the two big ones. I feel like people.
Those are the big ones.
Have you heard of any of your teammates or other players just asking for ludicrous stuff or like weird stuff? Like, yeah, I need a bottle of Patron tequila on my desk at home every week, or like I need, this person to come give me a leg massage twice a day or whatever.
I've heard of people demanding to have all their food cooked for them. Like someone will come and cook and prepare all their food,
Nice.
Yeah, I'll take that. Or like they'll want a separate apartment for friends and family to come and have it like available all year round. I'm trying to think of I feel like those crazy things happen more on the men's side. I feel like all those stories are mostly from the guy's side. Yeah, extra flights, stuff like that. No, I wasn't saying that, Garrett.
No,
I'm just saying.
No, I am. We've talked to some real dumbasses on this show, including the hosts. So, absolutely.
I wouldn't even think to ask for half this stuff. I'd be like, can I get this jersey number maybe? And like, what time do we practice? Where you guys are like, I'm only practicing every other Tuesday and I want this jersey number and I want a full-size fridge, not a mini fridge. That's for the rookies. And, the team colors are pink and black. I don't wear pink, so we're going to have to change that. Like, just keep going on this long list of what you can get your hands on.
It's weird though. I actually like jersey number is like the last thing I think about. Like, I normally don't even pick it until I get there. Or they just pick my national.
Usually they ask you and yeah.
Yeah.
It's last thing on my mind.
Wow.
What a noob.
Well, there's no negotiating on the beach tour. Like, nobody's asking you if you need anything. It's like, hey, can I get a cab ride to the airport to get my ass out of here because I just lost in the first round. That's it. And that's like, get out of here. We don't have that.
Yeah, the beach life is just ridiculous. I still don't understand how everyone does it. Just financially and logistically, it just seems like a nightmare.
Yeah, what was I thinking? I should have picked this indoor road. Like, it sounds like it's a dream. Like, you just like, oh gosh, I gotta stop saying that because it's the truth. A, but B, it's like, okay, yeah, we get it.
You're also talking to two people currently in quarantine, so I don't know how much of a dream this particular moment is. So
hey, yeah, like I get that for sure. But I will say, I also haven't left this apartment in 2 days. I mean, it's not my record. I don't know about you, Josh. You go to practice all the time, but I could go a full week without even leaving the apartment.
Definitely. We're so lucky we're allowed to train. I'd be going crazy if I couldn't leave the house. I mean, like, I love our beach players. I know we got some indoor people here, so they get to brag a little bit, but I think, beach has got its pluses too, and I'm so happy we have an exemption to train because, yeah, when we were shut down, it's painful, man. I don't know how people do this.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you can tell. I'm going a little bit crazy, so...
Oh, we can all tell. Yeah, we've listened to the last episodes.
It's a slow descent into madness, and if you watch the episodes in order, you'll see it's just getting worse each time.
Did I see an article when Sophie was trying to train downtown at the beaches that she the police or something? I saw a tweet about it.
Yeah, we have a stay-at-home order here in Ontario, so you're not allowed to use like parks or play like organized sports outside. Like, you can walk your dog or go for a run or do like a bike ride. Like, you can be like not in one place for a while, but we can't. Like, we're training inside at Downsview right now. We're not allowed to go to the beach and have like an organized group right now.
But I mean, couldn't she? Okay. Yeah. Ontario,
yeah, I was just training with these three friends of mine just for exercise. We just happened to be all meet up at once. I mean, we're distant. I don't know. I never get within 6 feet of my partner.
Terrible partner, then.
Now I'm going to get fined just for saying that.
Takes all of us, Garrett. Takes all of us. We're going to get through this.
It does. It does, absolutely. And I do have a list of things we wanted to talk about, but like, I'm finding no graceful segues to get to any of them. Like, it's just, this is a complete mess. Jen, you fold me up literally every time. So I'm going to try to steer this thing back on track, but we'll see. I mean, who even knows?
You're just thinking out loud right now. You're not even segueing.
Josh, you got anything, buddy?
I would love to get both their perspective because I think Jen has said she did a good job with the media and trying to get more women's volleyball promotion. But Volleyball Canada did something cool, I thought.
Wait, where is Jen doing a good job, or did Jen say that she's doing a good job?
No, I follow. She's doing a good job. It's easy to pay attention who's playing when. You got maps going on. Like, it's just easy to know what's going on. So it's a one-stop shop, Garrett, versus like you got to follow Lane, you got to follow Caroline, you got to follow everybody. You can just follow the team account and follow those people too, actually. But anywho, what I was talking about was VC did a good job in the media. I thought when there was about 6 maybe athletes who retired, and they all got a little bit of a story. 7. So Jen was not one of them. So I want to get her perspective of why she chose to continue going. And then I would like Carolyn's thoughts of like being the new one around the program. Does it feel like there's a new cycle, new young energy going on, or are Jen and the old grizzled vets like really beating down the young ones? So maybe we'll start with Jen about like why didn't you go the route of Jesse and Kristen Monks, I think, retired. There was a few that all retired at the same time and chose not to pursue this cycle. But you're still here.
Are we old, Jen?
I mean, no, we're 29. I don't understand. That's a great question.
Volleyball years, guys.
In volleyball years, we've been doing this way too long. And actually, in retrospect, I thought about this. I might have joined the national team too soon. I was 15, turning 16, and started with the junior team, and then played beach for the next 3 years with beach national team, and then
waste of time.
No.
Excuse me.
No, beach. You're good. The beach was a waste of time.
Why? I would like to hear this. Why, Garrett?
Well,
Why
for our viewers out there, we have world champion Melissa Umania Perez, whose former partner was Jen Cross.
Yeah.
And Jen, at a start, was destined for greatness indoors. And Melissa was pretty clear destined for greatness on the beach. And I mean, I guess you were a great partner at the time, but
I wasn't though, because I was already committed to Michigan for 2 years before that. And so I think I was just playing beach because all of our friends did it. All of our friends were in beach crew. That's where we spent our weekends, was on the beach. What else was I going to do? So it just made more sense. And beach is still super fun to me. I've thought about switching back and forth. I've talked to Josh about that before.
Do not do that.
Garrett, you're not helping us.
Do not do that. Anyways, we've sidetracked and cut it off with the sharp cuts, the retirement thing.
Right. Okay. Why I did not retire? Because I still love playing. I'm still getting better. I don't feel in any way like I've reached my peak as a volleyball player, as a person, that I still have so much more to offer the program and help it evolve and change into what I believe it could be. I just don't feel done. I'm still learning. And if I'm still learning, that means I haven't reached my max. So why would I'm not done. I'm not tapped out yet. So I just didn't feel it was my time. So yeah, that's why I didn't retire. I'm ready to go.
And how about you, Caroline? Is there a curfew for you and Lane? And I think, is Parker Austin quite young, and Hillary Howe? There's some young guns coming through the program, right? So it's a pretty good mix this year, but what's going on?
It almost feels like half and half. I mean, I wouldn't know because I haven't actually seen everyone all together. But it would for sure be weird if Jen wasn't here. It's already weird that Kyla's not here. Kyla and I have been chatting a lot just over the season in France, and just weird with, and a lot of the other girls too. I wasn't necessarily on the team with them, but seeing them in the gym every day, and those older players that you look up to, and then you're finally here and then they're gone, just that. It's it's a pretty crazy feeling, but it's also really exciting, I think, to have a younger group going forward. I would say half and half of us, and all the girls that are kind of younger and coming up, we've all played a little bit together at FISU, and I wasn't at the Pan Am games, but at Pan Am, and then just with Next Gen. So we haven't had this unit all together just yet, but there's little connections here and there. So it's showing a lot of promise, I think, for the next few years going forward.
We also didn't have a fully functioning junior program or next gen program we did here and there certain years for certain competitions, but really in the last 2 or 3 years we've formalized the next gen and junior team process. So that's just
and that was Shannon that did that too. I think that was my first year coming in, was Shannon's first year as the head coach of the Next Gen program. So that's the other great thing too, having Shannon now coaching our senior women's team. A lot of us were with her for the majority of that summer with Next Gen. So it's just been kind of a pretty seamless transition, I'd have to say too. Mm-hmm. Kind of dope. Yeah.
Now I have to make it a little bit competitive. Jen, you know me. So
yeah,
Carolyn, you've been coming from the Next Gen group, this kind of new group. You got the young energy. Then you got a few of the kind of established members. You get in that practice environment. Maybe you get, even beforehand, a couple years ago, maybe you get some exhibition, you get some training groups. Is there any sort of that intense energy, hey, I'm coming for you, hey, beat it, punk kid type thing going on? Or is everybody just super nice? Because, we are Canadians as well.
you're nice, you're not going to cut it. I think all of us, maybe some of us will be a little more confident to show it in different ways. And, you know, respects are always going to be paid. That's like without a doubt. But I think we're all holding each other accountable, that we expect each other to keep things competitive. So
the answer is yes.
Within the lines, yes, we get spicy, but within the lines of the volleyball court. But like outside, I don't know if there's a team that like love each other more than this group. It's kind of ridiculous, but like, yeah, it can get spicy.
Well, but Jen, but then you get somebody who is saying hasn't spent a single day with the group coming in, trying to take time. Like in some ways, I mean, it gets spicy, but is there ever that line of like, hey, like, you haven't been here, like, who do you think you are type thing, where this person is saying, hey, I'm here to prove myself, like, you better bring it because I'm coming type thing?
I know the answer you want me to say, but like, nah, like.
Well, I don't want you to say anything. Just tell me the truth. Like, don't lie.
Is that I want to qualify for the Olympics. So like, I don't care how long you've been on the team. Like, if you're the best, like, that's who I want to play with. I want to play with the best people. So like, I don't care if you've been on the team for a month or Caroline, who's been on the team for like 2 days. Like, I don't care. Like, I want to win. That's what matters most, is like the team winning and qualifying for the Olympics. It's been way too long, and I've been here for too many quads for it not to have happened. And so like, for me, like, I don't care. I want to win. And if that means like people who have been on the team for 8 years are starting, great. If it means people who have been on the team for 2 months, fantastic. I want to win. I
mean, that's amazing. And I mean, I guess that's why you got to have that attitude and kind of behave that way to make it on a national team, to be a part of it for so long, to play pro, to play all that. But I am kind of curious because it's a group of highly competitive people, right? And so it's great that you kind of develop this off-court kind of admiration and respect for each other. But obviously, when you get the best players together, you need them to play well in practice for you to improve, for you to get the things done you need to do in preparation to help win, right? I mean, who's on the court when in crucial times, like that sort of thing. I'm kind of curious because we had a similar conversation with TJ a few weeks ago about their environment. I'm just kind of curious, what does it look like when things get super intense in a practice environment, in a training environment, maybe in a tough match where somebody's getting subbed out, somebody's struggling? Like, what does that look like? How does it play out? Like, are you throwing chirps? Is it just the stare down? Is it the looks? Like, what does this look like? No, like, the guys team makes me laugh. We don't throw chirps. Like, so no chirps ever. No, not.
Like, you're never telling Kim or Bree, don't set this person because I'm gonna block them. Like, you're not trying to talk to the other team setter or like do anything mean about tactical through the net.
Not on national team.
Okay.
I overseas pro do it quite often. Like, game. And I am notorious for getting yellow cards when my team needs me to. But national team is different. Like, I feel like my focus is, maybe it's just me and my position and like my role. Like, I'm focused on running the block defense and like making sure everyone's doing what they need to do. And like, if someone wants to get spicy, like Shaina, for example, she will chirp and like get more spicy, but that is just not my role, which is, that's just not what I do. So like, if you're shutting down somebody in a practice environment and you just block them 100% of the time, you get like 3 or 4 in a row, like there's no, it's like, no, coach, you got to deal with that. It's not, I'm doing my business here. Like, it's not, you're saying, hey, like, hit it around me. What the hell are you doing? I'm not getting better from this. No, I do not. But like, to me, what purpose Carolyn, does that? So next time in the practice environment, you got to use that, right? So you get in a little bit in Jen's head. Like, if I'm blocking them 5 times in a row, like, great job, I did an amazing job. Like, I don't need someone to tell me that. Like, I know I'm amazing. I got it. Good, so, good for you, because I mean, I would need that. Well, yes. It's like confidence boost and outside validation, but that's your issue, not mine. So, hey, why do you think we're doing this show? No, for me, I that's just not where I choose to put my energy. I have a limited amount of energy and emotional capacity. That's not where I choose to spend it. So, yeah. I mean, that's interesting because that sounds a lot different than kind of what we
had heard from TJ about the men's group. And I'm kind of interested too, because Carolyn, going through the kind of next gen group, right? How much time did you spend there, by the way? I don't want to assume it was like a ton, but.
Oh man, it was a long summer. I would say, I think it was like 3 or 4 months, maybe 3 months.
Okay, so like everybody there, right, is trying to get the leg up because they're trying to make the big show, right? So
yeah,
is it a little bit different there? Because are some people realizing like, hey, if I'm the best and by bearing somebody else, like I don't need to see them again, I'll be up with the national group. Like, does it ever, I don't want to say cross the line, but have a different air about it?
I think for sure. I think it was a different dynamic because we didn't get to compete regularly against someone else in competition in a game style setting. It was literally like the summer of never ending training. And Shannon like told us that coming in. She was like, I just want you guys to be mentally ready. You will play. It'll just be a little while. So like every weekend we were watching, like I think that summer you guys were hopping around quite a bit. I know for North and stuff like that down in Trujillo and back. And we were just in the gym getting more reps. And so, yeah, there was definitely that point where it was like, I would think a little bit of like inter-team competition or interposition competition for sure. But
yeah, I guess we have that too. We have position. Did I forget how to speak English? Position competition. But like, it's only usually like right before a roster choice.
Yeah.
But even like right before like we leave for a trip or something, like things get more intense. But even then, it's never like, I just don't remember a time someone chirping other than Shy.
No. Okay. Yeah. Never to the point of chirping for sure.
Well, I don't know what they do with the national team. Probably something different than this. But on my university team, our coach Jim would have the 2 guys who were fighting for the position, like 6 and 7 on the depth chart, or they have the room together and do everything together. And it was like, oh my god, what are you doing? But they were always in a room together, and I mean, never had a problem. But they probably don't do that with you guys, right?
We do like the exact opposite. Like we really don't room positions together, and like we try to mix up old and young, and like starters and non-starters. Not for like competition reasons, but for like team chemistry and like making sure everyone is as comfortable
balance
as possible. Mm-hmm. So
I mean, I'm reassured to hear that for our national team's sake. I mean, I think it makes sense. It's a good way to do things. I don't know.
So I mean, you guys were successful, so I don't know. Maybe it did work for you guys.
Well, hey, listen, we ain't going any volleyball nations leagues, that's for sure. That's definitely not happening.
I'm curious, preparing for an event like this, like obviously the goal is to make the Olympics, but it is wonky for you going to an event where we're not eligible to qualify, but teams there are in the Olympics, so they might be treating this a little bit different. Like, have expectations been talked about, or do you guys have personal expectations? Like, it's interesting going to a competition where some people are using this to springboard for Tokyo, where this is our competition this season, and it's exciting to be back on the court, but you don't have that next thing after. So you can go a little bit more all out, right? So what's the mood around the team in terms of what this bubble means to the program right now?
Well, I think one thing that's been a little bit overlooked is that the news that we are guaranteed to be in VNL next summer regardless. And like as a program, I mean, obviously it's unfortunate because of COVID, they couldn't do the qualifier. But like for us as a program, that's like huge, like program changing news. Like as someone who's been here a long time, we have always struggled as a program to get enough quality international matches throughout the summer. Like if you look at the Euro teams, they're playing like 40 or 50 high quality international matches every national team summer, versus Canada, we're playing around 15 to 20 depending on which competitions. So like purely speaking from like a performance standpoint, like being in VNL and having that competition is so important. And so the fact that we're in for this year and next year is like huge, because we're guaranteed that level of competition regardless of how we do. Also, like because of where we're at in the quad and with like so much change, as we've said, like basically half of new team, new staff, like we're just focused on ourselves. Like we fully know that like finding a win in VNL is going to be extremely challenging. So like it's less about what other teams are doing and like trying to figure out us first. And like as we go through VNL, like we'll make smaller goals, but for right now it's just trying to figure out who we are as a team. Like we need people to meet each other first. Like that's step number one, you know, like focus on that first.
I mean, I hear that might be important, but I don't know. I don't know.
On your pro team, sometimes you don't speak the language as everybody, right? So it's not that important sometimes.
But like it will be interesting, like to see, like we are playing with an extended roster, right? Like we have 17 here, and some of myself included have been overseas since July. So like I will be gone a full calendar year. And so like in terms of like load management too, like it is impossible for like the starters, I use that with quotes, to play every single match. Like that will not be happening. So like it's a really good opportunity for us, and every other team will also have to handle this. Like, so it'll be interesting to see like which matches people choose to start their A lineup and like where that's going to match up. Like you could, like when USA and China play each other, like are they going to go for it as a prep to see where they're at, or are they just going to be like, nope, I need to figure out who's going to the Olympics first. Like we just don't know, and each match will be different for every team. So
that's interesting what you said about how you kind of got such a huge turnover with with half the team and with like half the staff you mentioned. That kind of intrigued me. Like that feels like that would be something that's like super tough to deal with when you're coming to the Volleyball Nations League. You got to quarantine, you're meeting everybody for the first time. Like holy, like, so how many people, Carolyn, haven't you met? Like, have you met no one?
Gosh, you know, I haven't even counted them yet, but I would say about half. I mean, Jen, I would say we officially met, 2 days ago.
Yeah, like we have spoken. We knew, like we've been in the same places. We're in the same like general, but like have I ever in-depth conversation with her? Not until like yesterday.
You are like what, 10 meters away from each other right now?
Yeah.
I mean, that's wild, by the way. But the fact that you arrive in the country, like we're coming, hey, I'm playing with a roster of 17. I don't know half the people.
Yeah.
Like that's
Is there going to be icebreakers? Is the captain in charge of making sure everybody knows each other? Like, how's this going to work? This just seems bonkers.
I was until I was put in isolation.
Yeah, there's this really great one where Jen and I stand on our balcony, and then everyone comes out and looks at us like we're zoo animals, and it's just the best.
Yeah, so that did happen.
That's been the extent of the ice breaking on our end.
Yeah. There are things that we are trying to do, as like, and when we say like half the team, as like some people are more familiar, like there's some people who it's like their first time, and then there's other people that have been in Next Gen or have sometimes traveled on the A roster. Like there is like a variance. Like I would say there's like, I would say 4 new people, but like it's also like our entire staff is different. Even like our support staff and like our manager is different. Like everybody except for like our physio is different. So like that's a huge adjustment too. It's just a big time of change. So it's just.
So Jen, you've got all the. Sorry, Carolyn, go ahead.
I was saying, what else is new with everything else going on this year anyway? So
yeah.
What a wild year. So like, Jen, you've got a bunch of people you've never played with, like never. Bunch of staff who you have no idea who they are. Carolyn, you're coming into a situation. You've got a ton of people you've never played with. You don't know any of the staff really, or I mean. Those you might have met beforehand, and now you're getting time. Like you're going to play in a few, like in this tournament, without having ever hit a set from your setter. Like it seems crazy to me.
We're gonna have like 2 weeks,
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I hope you're gonna have 2 weeks. I hope you guys aren't stuck in that hotel room for any longer.
I have antibodies, so I'm pretty sure I'll be fine. But we believe that we will be fine. We're thinking positively.
I love that.
And we're gonna have like two weeks to like get ready and then start hot on like the 25th against Brazil. I see no issue, Garrett.
I know you
the
don't. I was talking to
Brazil, then
Carolyn.
US.
Carolyn's going to introduce herself and then tell the setter to set her higher. Like that's in the same conversation.
Yeah, that's how it's gonna go down for sure.
Yeah, like it seems wild to me. You're getting time on a national stage with people you don't know. You step on, you're like, hey, I'm here. Like, set me the ball. Like, it's wild. Like, nobody in their regular life has to deal with shit like that.
Oh, this is just the tip of the iceberg, I think.
Wait,
Just like,
what? There's more?
There's more?
I mean, like this, yeah, like pro and playing volleyball overseas is not normal. Like the lifestyle is like, I think we glamorized it before, but like, I don't live anywhere. Like I just travel to different places and like I have several different home bases and like you can sometimes communicate with teammates. Like we play all year round and I've been doing that since I was 18. Like this is just like pro life. This is just what happens when you're on the national team.
Yeah, I just can't think of any
the thing
career.
I've said most.
Sorry, I keep interrupting you,
The thing I've
Carolyn.
said most this year
why am I doing that?
to any family member. Sorry, I'm just jumping in. The line is you'll know when I know. So it's like, oh, when are you coming home? I don't know. You'll know when I know. What's your schedule for tomorrow? I have no idea. You'll know when I know. And you never really know what's happening. So just always going with the flow. It's what we're best at. So I think we're going to be really well equipped for the next couple of weeks.
So this is better to recruit people back towards the beach because you guys made it sound so glamorous where it sounds like, oh, breakfast is at this time,
All right, I'll
bus leaves
stop
at
you right
this
there,
time.
Mr. Recruiter
But-
over there. I see where
Whoa,
this is
hey,
going.
whoa,
Look at this
whoa.
guy trying to pull people into the beach scene. Here's the
People-
question. You got to throw it out there. Josh, if you're really recruiting, Jen, when you do decide you're done indoors, is there a future in beach for you? Same question, Carolyn.
Yes.
Have you seen my skin tone? That might answer your question.
I need more gingers on the beach. I can't be the only I'm like a half at best. We need more. We need more. Just
If Josh is getting out there coaching on the beach, anyone can.
She has like 100 SPF sunscreen. I think you'll be fine. You just got to reapply.
Yeah, exactly.
Reapply is key. No, I've thought about beach a lot and what that transition would be like and when would be a good time to do it. But also like, I can't play volleyball forever. I will physically, eventually break down. So it's an ongoing conversation within myself and various people. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, the Sarah Pavin route's got to maybe inspire a bunch of indoor players who are thinking about maybe finishing their career indoor because it's so intense on the body, and move to beach where it's still intense on the body, but not in the impact type of way that you would get indoors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that's definitely part of it. Honestly, like one of the major factors when I was deciding beach was the lifestyle of the constant travel and also the financial burden that a lot of beach athletes take on at the beginning of their career, especially like if you're not consistently making main draws and you're not placing somewhat regularly in the top 15, like I don't feel really inclined to go and spend all my money that I've just made playing indoor to like go play beach for a couple of years like that, so maybe that's like a super adult answer.
Don't
but
do
like,
it. Don't do it.
You don't believe in me?
No,
Come
I
on.
believe in you wholeheartedly, but
Okay.
it's expensive. Don't do it. Take the money and run.
I don't know though. We'll see. we'll see. Josh is just sitting there like, don't shut up, stop saying this.
Josh, this is tampering. Is there not a tampering thing between the national teams? Like, there's got to be some sort of rule around.
Whoa. When we had TJ on the show and we were both fangirling, it was about like, how can we bring both programs together? We can learn from each other. There was like all this cohesive stuff happening. Now you've drawn a line where you're just like, if you're indoor, don't leave the bubble. Like, stay in the indoor bubble as long as you can.
Well, but we were saying like, hey, let's work together. And as soon as Jen said, hey, I might think about playing beach, it's like, oh, forget everything.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Forget everything.
I have told Josh in the past, we've had conversations about it. Josh knows this. There's definitely a possibility. And like, it's, it just depends on timing and a lot of different things. But I don't know. I see why people are drawn to the beach, but I also get why indoor players are like, nah, like after they're done, they're ready to tap out. They're done.
Well, it kind of brings up an interesting thought about like life outside of volleyball for volleyball people. And I know it's crazy to talk about for us volleyball folks. Like, what? There's a life outside of volleyball? Like, there's a world out there? Like, people do stuff?
Never heard of it.
People maybe don't care about what we're doing? Like, can't believe that. But I am kind of curious because it's something I've gone through recently trying to figure out, like, who the hell am I without volleyball? Right? And I'm just wondering, like, if that's something that's kind of on both of your radars, if that's something you're thinking about and kind of actively planning for, or if it's like, hey, I'm going to ride this thing while I'm in it, and then when I'm out, figure it out type thing.
You go first.
Oh, I'm going first, eh? I'm for sure. I actually was just chatting to my sister about this. I'm for sure riding it out right now. I think my type A North American loving family is very much like, what's up? Like, so when you're done volleyball, obviously supporting me 100% the whole way, all my friends and family, but like for sure there's like a lot of people are like, wow, this is so cool, but like, what are you doing after? And I just think there's there's so much pressure to like, I think North America too, like, I don't know about you, Jen, but like after living in Europe, like, you realize, I don't want to use the word uptight. I'm going to say success driven. I'm going to use the kind words here. Like, I think there's definitely that culture in Canada for sure, where it's like, always pushing for these sort of stereotypical, or there's a little bit of a stigma around like what you should be doing and when. And I don't think there's enough time spent just like enjoying the moment and loving what you're doing. So I was in the vortex of undergrad at Queen's for 5 years, and I just got out of there, and I'm just really enjoying being out of there right now and just playing the game. So I'm definitely riding it right now. What about you, Jen?
Oh, I mean, maybe I've just conditioned all my friends and family to just accept the fact that like Garrett's shaking his head. Like Garrett and I haven't seen each other in years because we're never in the same place. But like, I don't know. I feel like everyone kind of knows that I was just always going to be doing this. Like, it just kind of like made sense for me and like has continued to make sense. Like, I think I feel a pressure to get married, which is a new thing. And I have like zero desire to do so still. But like some of Garrett and I's close friends are getting married really soon. So like it's like we've had one or two couples kind of get married within our friend group, but like, I don't know. I was like, oh my God, they're going to start having kids and like, oh, weird.
Oh yeah.
But like, yeah.
Auntie Jen.
Yeah, it's going to be strange. But like, I think for me, like I enjoy my own time. Like I still prioritize what I want to do more than anyone else. Like I'm not super accommodating with my relationships, which is bad, but I'm still in that place where like I am in my prime in terms of volleyball. Like I still feel super young. So like I have no desire to like change my life right now. I love it. Like this is what I was meant to do, I feel like, and I still have so much more to do. So like I'm gonna keep doing this. Sounds pretty great to me. I feel like we've made it sound terrible in this podcast.
No,
but like,
I think we've made it sound pretty good. And I think if our listeners are still with us, I mean, thanks for joining us. Subscribe. I mean, you're amazing. But outside of that, I think I don't know, isn't that what you want to hear from like your national team members, your professional athletes, is that, hey, while I'm in this, like I'm enjoying, I'm not taking this for granted. I'm going full out. Like Carolyn, you're saying like, hey, I'm in it. I'm riding the wave. Like I'm not, looking outside. I'm going to enjoy the moment, which I think like, I mean, I did that too when I played. I kind of regret it now, but I think in the moment, I also though didn't fully enjoy it and really appreciate it as much as maybe I could have. I mean, it was tough because it was a grind.
Is that the part you regret though, that you think you didn't enjoy it enough, or you regret not becoming more well-rounded?
I think it was hard to enjoy. Like, I mean, you go to Gstaad, Switzerland. You got to play an 8 a.m. match in the rain against a tough Argentinian team in the first round of the qualifier with a partner who you don't know. You're staying in a hostel, actually, so it's like bunk beds, and you're getting up in the morning to play in a highly competitive match at 8 a.m. It's like, okay, I mean, It's hard to find the appreciation there, but I certainly wish that I had done some more, like on the side, right? Like I had so much time when I was traveling to do something, learn something, like pick something up and or go more into it, like do more training, do more film, all that. And I did neither of those things. So, I mean, I'm reassured to hear that it sounds like anyways that both of you aren't making my mistakes, which, I mean, hey, well done to both of you for that. Because seriously, it's not an easy life.
No, it's not. But that's where I think like when people, because pro is really difficult. Like if people are like kind of feeling the woes of like, oh, should I keep doing this? I always tell them to stop, which kind of sounds terrible, but I just feel like with pro, if you're not fully in and not committed, it's horrible. Like you cannot be half in, half out in this lifestyle because it is torture to, as you said, like waking up at 8 a.m. in the rain to play a game that's just super intense. It's just not ideal, right? And it's the same with indoor. Like it can be extremely difficult to be away from people. So if you're like not in and you're done, like I think there's a certain point you should fight through it, but also like know when you're done and to move on.
I just had a thought because this is something I wanted to talk about, but now I'm curious because your coach obviously needs to play a role in that, right? Like your kind of enjoyment, your investment, your mental state around it is super important. And I'm kind of curious in both your experiences because, I mean, in beach, it's different. It's the wild frickin' West. Like, you get who you get who you can. It's your parent, in my case, or somebody else. Yeah. But in indoor, it's very formalized, right? So are the coaches kind of in there, I mean, next gen, pro, whatever, in there, very conscious of that fact, saying, hey, we understand that our athletes they need to be all in and we got to be accommodating. And if so, what are some of the things that like would change and they would do that would actually really help support that? I mean, maybe that's a bit of a deep question, but I'm super curious.
Yeah. Well, like for pro, they do not give a crap about
okay. That's pretty clear.
Like you are a commodity. You are signing a contract to do a job. If you're not doing a job, then you should be fired. Like it's very, and obviously this was the caveat. It depends on what league, it depends on your coaches, what level, but like in general, like I sign a contract to do a job, to play volleyball. Like there really is very little concern about your well-being in that way. I say that like there are some coaches that care, which is great. National team is very different. Like we have a whole support system, game plan, like all the Canadian sports institutes, like there are full, programs dedicated for our mental well-being, for us to be able to go get a business degree if we want while we're playing, all of that stuff is actually really, really well supported in Canada. And like we're one of the very few national team programs or nations even that have that system at all. Like you talk to European athletes and they have like nothing. Like it's just a completely different culture. Like there is no game plan. There is no like educational resources. Like there is none of that in Europe specifically. Like we're actually really well supported. And in terms of coaches, they're all part of that conversation, or at least all the coaches we've had. Their main priority is the wellness of the athletes in every area, I would say.
And just to add on that, we had Joe Trinzi, who worked with Team Canada. He's been a big part of USA Volleyball. So he mentioned, to build on Garrett's point there, that like, because you're a high performance athlete, you've missed vacations, birthdays, family, like you've missed a lot. And what Joe and what he was doing with USA Volleyball and tried to bring to Team Canada a little bit was, as an athlete, you almost owe it to yourself and your family and your sport group to work your tail off and do your best every single time, because you're sacrificing so much, right? Like, do you remember him bringing that up at a team talk? He talked about, you know, if we're going for the Olympics, you owe it to yourself, your family, like everybody, to do your best every single time, because you're not a normal person. You're missing birthday parties, you're missing a whole bunch of stuff, right? Like, can you just comment on what that meant to the team, talking about we're special and we owe it to everybody to go for it right now?
Yeah, I love Joe. He's great. He's such a good guy. He can always give a good motivational speech. Yeah, it's really special. I remember when he was talking about in preparation for the Olympic qualifier. What year was that? The one that a year and a half ago.
Don't be losing track of years already. We're only 29, Jen. Like, gosh.
Well, but like because we didn't have national team last summer because everything was shut down. Like, we're always like last summer, but it wasn't. It was the summer before.
What is time anymore? It's true. I should, yeah.
Yeah. So he talked about that a lot, and his experience in Rio, and just like how USA was just like all in, and they did. And I think with Joe too, he's really focused on minute details. So he brought the idea of going super in depth and finding every single way, like, how can you make a 3-point difference? Whether that's like serving aggressively in 6 rotations, whether that's like finding a tick of a setter. Like, he was super great about finding those small details, and also like just being 100% in and committed to what you're doing. Like, if you're going to go for a serving, whatever, if you're going for short, if you're going for a seam, like, go for it 100%. Like, don't just like kind of put the ball in and you kind of serve a drop. Like, if you're going to go for it, go for 100%. And he also talked about too, like, he was really great about creating scenarios in practice of replicating, like, okay, it's 24-23 to qualify for the Olympics. What serve are you hitting? And he would say that every single practice. And he would like point to someone and be like, it's 23 all, serve. And you would have to like serve in front of everybody to like qualify for the Olympics. So I think that was huge. Love that.
Shit.
Pretty heavy. I love when we get the behind the scenes stuff, Garrett.
Yeah, I mean, I love it too. And I'm kind of saddened because I feel like we could talk with these two forever. But I realize that the later we keep the show going, the later they are staying up at night in Italy. I mean, it's fine for us here, but for them, it's like, hey, it might be tomorrow soon. Actually, it's already tomorrow.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Officially, yeah.
So, I mean, this is how we usually end the show, is we probably get to a point where it just kind of deteriorates to the point where we gotta end it. Normally, we don't have such an inside scoop like that perspective, Jen. So, I mean, I'm a little bit thrown off by that. But, I mean, listen, thank you both for being on. Sharp cuts. I mean, this is what it is. I'm not sure if you guys seen episodes before or whatever, but, I mean, what'd you think?
It was a time.
It was a time. That is a perfect descriptor.
Way to sit on the fence there, Caroline. Yep.
Josh making note.
I argue more. I'm a little disappointed in us, Garrett. We've gotten soft in our old age.
Well, listen. Yeah, I have no rebuttal, actually. Again, I guess contributing to the point.
No, Garrett, this was good. It's good to win over the captain of the team, so now we can get other national team players. When we have Caroline back, we'll have to make sure the internet's a little bit better, because not only were we cutting her off a lot, but I think she's on a slight delay, so when she did try to get a word in edgewise, like, it just wasn't happening. So
No.
We'll have to have them both back on, but I think that was really good. This will come out on Monday. You can watch it on YouTube. If you're more into listening, you want to listen to it in the car when you're doing your grocery shopping, it's going to be on Passin Dimes on all the podcast platforms. Garrett, again, we just get a little bit better every week. The guests just keep bringing it. It's having a blast doing this.
I mean, the tech was a challenge this episode. I apologize to everybody. My gosh, this is going to look crazy. But hey, Italy, Canada, we did it.
Woo.